All right, is this working? Take two. Well, I tried to start streaming and failed. But I think it's working now. I had to lower my quality. The first stream that I did was at 720p and it worked great. And then I recently just got another one of my HDMI capture cards off of AliExpress, and it supports 1080p 60 FPS, and I tried setting OBS to do that and it seems like it overloaded my computer, so that's fine. What you guys missed was me unboxing the JetKVM, which came in. It was delayed a little bit because of the US tariffs. Apparently they shipped all of the stuff to the Americans first because they didn't want them to have to pay the tariffs, which makes total sense. I was supposed to get this in March, or it was supposed to ship in March. It's May now. That's fine. I am super excited to try it out. I also got the ATX kit, which allows you to connect it up to your motherboard, and it will actually be able to toggle power resets. And I am also looking forward to that as well, because I had Unraid crash the other day on me and I had to plug in a physical keyboard and use the SysRq key. Most people probably don't know, but you can actually, if you are dealing with a Linux system that is unresponsive but you have keyboard access, just Google SysRq Linux commands and it's kind of neat. Basically, you're able to use magic SysRq key, system request, and it will, like, you know, sync the disks, kill all the processes, and allow you to properly shut down your system if it's not responsive. I couldn't get into the web GUI for Unraid and I couldn't SSH in. Kind of irritating. I am currently pondering switching over to TrueNAS at this point. But today I want to talk about Dawarich. Dawarich? I'm not sure how to say that. It is a open source location history tracker, and you can self-host it. Kind of neat. Google Maps timeline is a feature that I personally used for a long time, and since like 2012, 2013, whenever I got my first smartphone, I got an Android Nexus phone, Galaxy Nexus, something like that, and Nexus S, I think that was the first one I got, and tracked my location since then, and it came in handy quite a few times. It was pretty neat being able to just, you know, go back and look at whatever. Is this scaled properly? Let's see if we can fix that. That's strange. Maybe that's better. But yeah, basically noticed last year they sent out a notice that you have to switch, and I clicked it, and what that effectively did was delete my timeline data off of Google servers and kept it exclusively on your smartphone, which was kind of irritating because then when I tried to export it from my smartphone, the Google Maps app was crashing and I couldn't see any way to get around that. I managed to deal with it by loading it on my iPad using the Google Maps app there. And then I was able to get these two JSON files here. This one goes until from like when I first started using the service until last year, September, and then I have this gap for some reason, and then I have the last couple months, which is here in this location history new file. And so today what I'm going to try to do is first of all show you my setup for Dawarich. I deployed a new Docker host, which I'm going to be using for whatever home lab stuff that I do on this channel, and it's just called home-docker. And I created a CNAME entry. First of all, I installed Tailscale on here, and I created a CNAME entry in my DNS, which points towards the Tailscale ts.net host name for this home-docker server. And what this allows me to do is, I also put a wildcard DNS CNAME record, and that allows me to put anything.home.csilo.ca will reach this particular server. And then Caddy, which I've set up, will reverse proxy the traffic, and then we'll reach Dawarich. And that's what we were doing here. So this is dawarich.home.csilo.ca, and it's going through Tailscale, so it's not accessible on the internet at all. I apologize if I'm skipping over things here. I'm new to the whole YouTube tech thing here, but I'm gonna try to share information, so just bear with me. I have Dawarich, actually they just got a iOS app as well. So I've been kind of testing that out a little bit past couple days after I installed it. And this was a trip I made yesterday. Rode the subway, and yeah, it seems to do a great job. The only thing I am not so sure about right now is that it's kind of either tracking all the time or not tracking at all. And the way that Google Maps sort of worked was you didn't really have to think about it. It was just tracking in the background. Granted, it was probably like less accurate than this. Looks like we got a lot of different, points where it was tracked here, and looks very accurate to the route of the subway, which is pretty remarkable because it's underground. But the Google app doesn't really drain your battery, and it seems like Dawarich, this iOS app, seems to have a bit of a battery drain. But I imagine that it's something that you can tweak. There's some settings in there, how often it should check for points and stuff. So maybe if I just reduce those settings down, it'll be fine. There are other apps you can use and point them towards Dawarich. OwnTracks is one of them. I mean, OwnTracks actually is kind of its own thing. Like there's an OwnTracks server you can run. Dawarich just seems like a newer project, and it's being actively developed. This is my API key. I mean, you guys won't be able to reach this server because it's only on my VPN, but yeah, maybe after this I'll regenerate my API key if I'm feeling paranoid. But yeah, essentially once you've got Dawarich up, you can install the app on your phone, which you should probably also have Tailscale on. And assuming your DNS is set up like I've got, you could just use the built-in Tailscale DNS too. Then yeah, all you do is you input the domain name and you log in or use your API key or whatever, and it starts tracking you. But I would really like to import and see how it works with importing this location history, this many years of location history. Let's see how it goes. Also, there's an update available. Should I update and then do the import? Maybe. However, this update is a breaking update. So let's see. Where is the updating guides? Yes. So if we go to their GitHub project here, this is where you can get a copy of Dawarich. I am running Dawarich inside of Docker. So I made a folder here for Dawarich and just set up my Docker Compose file. So I'll show you that here. I left pretty much all the defaults. So if you go in here to their intro, they provide you with, that is really irritating. Okay. They provide you with a Docker Compose file, which has all of the different containers required. Like we got Redis here, the DB, the app, and whatever the sidekick, I'm not actually sure what that is. Yeah, so Docker Compose project. I did make some changes. I set it up with an external network so that I can do reverse proxying. And I also changed underneath Dawarich app, there's this application hosts environment variable, and I put my domain name in there because I got an error when I first launched it. I also changed the time zone. I didn't bother changing the password or anything. Just left all the other defaults. Yeah. So then, you do Docker Compose up -d and it's working. I guess that's not particularly interesting, but this is going to be interesting. So apparently they have replaced PostgreSQL 17 with PostGIS 3.5. And PostGIS, I assume based on GIS, is just a geospatial thing, because like GIS is, what does that even stand for? Geographic Informational System. There you go. So this is Postgres GIS. And it is adding support for storing, indexing, and querying geospatial data. That's pretty cool. And if we go to their releases here, 26, they kind of explain why they're doing this. If you haven't updated your database image, yeah, we're already on 17, aren't we? Let's check. We are here, DB, image, PostGIS, PostGIS 14.3.5 Alpine. Hang on a second. I wonder which one we're using. Looks like we're PostGIS 14. So we are already on PostGIS. However, they've changed it from 14 to 17. You may still use it, but no support will be provided for it starting this version. Okay, well, let's just follow their guide. So please consider doing so as per the docs on the website. I'm going to switch my camera here because I've got a kitty cat. And here's the kitty cat. Can I somehow do that? Whoops. How can I do that? Nice. Nope, that didn't work. Apologies. Okay, well, video capture device. I'm doing all of this so you guys can see my cat. This is Theo, and he is a good cat. There you go. Nice. Cat view. Theo will often come up and just like bug me while I'm working. Okay. So, if If you encountered problems with moving to a PostGIS image while still on Postgres 14, they got a selection of different things. Okay. New users will automatically provision with PostSQL PostGIS 3.5. Okay. So looks like it'll be pretty simple. Updating to PostgreSQL 17 with PostGIS. So as of January 25th, 2025, they use a kind of obsolete version of PostgreSQL. So to make sure we'll be able to improve and expand the project, we'll need to update it to the most recent version. Oh, I can change this to dark mode too. Nice. That's cool. Be careful with this process. Make sure you're aware of the risks and have a local backup of the database. Well, I only have like 2 days worth of data, so I'm not going to bother. Make sure your Dawarich app is not running and all 4 containers should be stopped. Well, let's do that first. Let's stop them. So docker compose down. No, is there any way to just stop? Oh, you can just stop. Nice, okay. Down would probably delete the containers, which, I mean, I'm not sure if it makes any difference here, but I'll use stop instead of down. I assume stop does something different. We'll dump the database to a file, add the new container to the file, create the db dump, restore the dump, validate the data presence. Okay. We are on AMD 64. Old image, new image. Well, we're already on 14 3.5 Alpine. We just need to switch to Postgres 17. Okay. Let's update the file to add an updated version of our container. Okay. You know what? I want to not do this in here. I want to do it with VS Code. Because I prefer the editor there. And I don't really know how to tab that stuff. Connect to. Let's connect up to our host. Add a new SSH host. Home container at home docker. Connection with SSH timed out. Come on. What are you talking about? There we go. Can open the folder. Yeah, I trust the authors. All right. Here's our file. And is there no way I can change this to be dark mode? You gotta have dark mode. Themes. Nice. Okay. So there's 14.3.5 Alpine, 17.3.5 Alpine. Let's try it. This is why I did this, because I want, with YAML, I have to make sure the tabs are correct, and to be honest, I have no idea how to just tab indent all of that stuff. Oh, I could have tab indented before pasting it into the terminal. Oh well, okay. So the volumes, they got DB data PG17. And I just did a direct mount to the folders because I didn't want to have to deal with the volumes inside of Docker. Is there any other differences between these? We got the container name, networks, environment, restart. Yeah, that all looks good. Okay, let's start the database container. So we'll save this. Open the terminal up. Always read your commands before you run them. Okay, the database is started. Let's start the DB dump. Docker exec Dawarich DB. Let's see how that goes. Well, it looks like it ran. var shared backup. So it'll be underneath Dawarich shared. There we go. That's the file right there. Okay, I can't open it. That's fine. Let's see if I can create the new DB container. Okay, let's do it. So it's got to pull the database image for Postgres. Okay, it's pulled, and now we're going to create a new database in the container. Yeah, cool. Now we've done that. Now we're going to restore the database into the dump into the new database. So we're going to do that. Dawarich. Oh, look at this kitty cat. This kitty cat is so nice. Getting in the way. He knew I was streaming, so he had to come over and check it out, you know. Let's try restoring it. Yeah. All right, done. Let's validate the data presence. There you go, 718 points tracked. Okay. Now we can stop both the database containers. This silly thing here. And then we can rename this stuff. And next, let's validate that the app is working. Remove the DB service, Dawarich DB from the service from the Docker Compose file. Everywhere in the Docker Compose file where you see Dawarich DB, replace it with Dawarich DB PG17. Okay, let's do it. So here's our Dawarich DB service that we're removing. Okay, that's gone. And then everywhere I see Dawarich DB, replace it with Dawarich DB PG17. So let's find one that is not that. Database host, replaced. Replaced, replaced, replaced. Okay. That looks good. Save. Yep. Okay. Let's start it up as usual. So it's creating it, and we can check out what's going on by connecting up. CD Dawarich. docker compose logs f. And oh, DB is ready to accept connection, or that's Redis actually. But looks like stuff is going on. Schema migration, internal metadata, it's doing some stuff. Okay. Cool. And they have a rollback plan. I love this documentation. I just want to say to these people who are running this project, well done. Your documentation is excellent, and I love your project. Okay. Hey, PostgreSQL is ready. Let's see if it's accessible. So this is where I have it. Hey, it does work. Nice. Let's log in. And it's kind of slow, but hey, it's working. And let's take a look at the map. And yeah, it's still working. Awesome. This is terrific. So, next thing we can do is update to 26. Starting this version, Dawarich, blah, 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 update your thing. If you encountered problems with moving, then yeah, okay, looks good. Yeah, now we can do that part. So I don't think that there's anything in here that would prevent us from doing that. We got Redis, we got PostgreSQL, Postgres rather. This one's latest. So we just got to do docker pull, compose pull. And it's going to pull the latest release for us. Nice. Okay. Let's try and do that. So we just run upd again after we do the pull and watch it work, hopefully. Keep an eye on the logs here. Running database migrations. This is very exciting. I'm not sure exactly what it says when it is finished. Well, worker 1 and 0 and 1 are started, so maybe let's just try logging in and see if it works. Refresh. I see some 200 here, 200, 200. Hey, 26, and it's up. Log in. And we're on the latest release. Okay, cool. Awesome. Now we can try importing our data. See if that works. I am wondering, what is that website that says everything Google killed? Killed by Google, the Google graveyard. Shows you everything that they've killed, 296. And I'm sure some of the people on here remember Google Reader. Almost 12 years ago. Google Reader was over 7 years old. But I remember in 2013, that was my last year of high school. And I remember feeling pretty upset that they killed Google Reader because it was awesome. Oh, and they got rid of VPN? Ah, that's crazy. That was a new thing too. Google Domains, yeah, that's gone. Chromecast is gone. Like, that was a super successful thing. I guess smart TVs kind of destroyed that, but anyways, is timeline on here? That's what I'm curious about. No? Latitude? Okay. I guess because it's still technically available on hey, Google Latitude, there you go. I guess because it's still technically available, just only locally on your phone. Anyways, it's not the same. Being able to go and see it integrated, like it was tied in with Google Photos. It was tied in with all sorts of cool stuff. Oh, check it out. They support all of this different import formats. Google Records, Google Phone Takeout, Google Semantic History. From your takeout location history. I think it was this one, Phone Takeout. Yeah. I did a request from takeout from my mobile device. Let's try that one first, and I'll try it with the small one. Location history. Let's try it with the smaller file. There you go. It's uploaded. Can I just click create import? See what happens? Okay. 1 files are queued to be imported in the background. It's importing the points. Oh, I love this. This is amazing. Also, is this not, I'm just going to make this full screen. Is this not the most hacker thing that you could ever look at? Like, just staring at the terminal debug logs, just scrolling by. Anyways. Okay, yeah, it's importing a whole bunch of points. Well, that seems like it's working pretty stable. I'm going to just go ahead and just try and upload the big one as well. See how it behaves. Clicked create import already, I think, here. No, let's just try it. Oh, there we go. That one's running now as well. So it's queued up to be imported in the background. See how that behaves. If I click on this, what can I see? Buffalo. 2014, March 23rd. Okay, so we're going back way in time here. Let's just try viewing March 23rd to April 11th. No way, yeah, that's all my data there. Okay, there's actually not very many points though. This is kind of what I was talking about before. Okay, so on April 1st, 2014, apparently, I went to the border. Okay. Weird. Is there any way to just like view one day at a time? It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm not so sure how I feel about this web interface right now. I feel like it could use some work. Let's try May 1st. 5/1. So we're going all day of May 1st. Yep. Okay. Again, not much detail, but I guess that's the way it was. And there's no button that I can click to like go to the next day, is there? No. I can just do that. Up, search. Okay. And that day I went to Mississauga. Okay, cool. How is the imports going? That's still going, okay. That one already has 5,000 imported points. Cool. Yeah, this is awesome. I love this. And trips, what does trips do? Here you find your trips, but there are none. I don't know. Total distance is 43 kilometers. I don't think so. Let's do update stats. I am just going to be overloading my poor server here. I wonder what the CPU usage looks like at this point. Let's take a look. Load average. Well, that's not too bad. We can check proxmox. Take a look. Got 4 CPUs, yeah, okay. It's going. Let's try refreshing this. 43 kilometers. 2024. Okay, well, it's still doing stuff. Still going. Oh, it's 0 imported points from the other one. Okay. Interesting. Well, I don't know if I got anything else to talk about today, so I think I'm going to stop this stream as much as it's fun messing around with this stuff. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I do that, I can show you my Caddy setup. So I have been using Nginx and like HA proxy, and yeah, I'm kind of used to more like traditional proxy setup. You know, running HA proxy on pfSense or running HA proxy on Linux VM, reverse proxying and stuff. But in container and Kubernetes land, the name of the game is something that is cloud native, or, you know, that's what they say, but something that is container native, at least, let's call it that. So Caddy is pretty cool. Oh shoot, I'm just realizing that my API token is here. Gonna have to change that. Let's go ahead and, well, I'll end the stream and change that. See, this is the sort of thing that you have to learn about. This is why you use environment variable files, but yeah. Yeah, this is my setup. It's very simple. I have the Dawarich external network here. And then I have Caddy data, which is where my SSL certs go. And yeah, very simple setup. And then in the Caddy file here, you can just put your entries like this. And it's just as simple as that. It's basically just 2 lines and your app is proxied. And it automatically gets the challenge from the environment variable, which I have just exposed myself. And my cat's left me, so I no longer have any reason to stream anymore. Have an awesome evening wherever you are, and thank you for watching. Take care. I gotta reset my API credentials now.